Hi guys, today we are going to continue our way through the Midwest region as we look at the state capitals. Please remember you should be taking notes during this presentation. All you really need is the state and then the capital city name, okay? So please make sure you are pausing and taking notes throughout this presentation. This Midwest region, just a review, is made up of 12 states all the way east at Ohio, and then working its way over west to that border of North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, and Kansas, okay? This is made up of our Great Plains region, continue, and the Great Lakes region, too. So our state capitals. Ohio, obviously, we know the state capital is Columbus. That's where we live. The Scioto River runs through Columbus, right through downtown. Our city was named after Christopher Columbus. Chillicothe was actually our first state capital, but it moved to Columbus in 1816. And fun fact, nearly half of all Americans live within 500 miles of Columbus, okay, which is super cool. Next, we have that state of North Michigan. The state capital is Lansing. It lies on the Grand River. The first capital was Detroit, but then it was moved to Lansing in 1847. This is also the birthplace of Oldsmobile automobiles in 1847. So this was actually 11 years before Ford created the Model T. Oldsmobile opened in Lansing. Next, we have Indiana. The state capital is Indianapolis. It is located on the White River. They have a couple racetracks in Indianapolis. They have the Motor Speedway, which opened in 1909 as a test track for local automobile companies, but now it is actually just like a real racetrack. Okay, so they have an annual race, the Indianapolis 500, and it is one of the world's most popular motorsports events. Next, we have Illinois. The state capital is Springfield. It is located on the Sangamon River. It was originally named Calhoun, but then they changed the name to Springfield in 1837. Abraham Lincoln actually lived there in 1837 until 1861. Next, we have Iowa. The state capital is Des Moines. It is located on the Des Moines River and the Raccoon River. It is in the heart of that Corn Belt, remember, which is what we said was a very rich farmland, perfectly suitable for growing corn, obviously. This city, Des Moines, was actually first named Fort Raccoon after that Raccoon River, but they named it Des Moines, which is a Native American word, later on. Next, we have Missouri. The state capital is Jefferson City. It is located right on that Missouri River. It is named for Thomas Jefferson, our founding father, one of our founding fathers. It was originally called Lowman's Landing, and then it was actually, the city was designed by Daniel Boone, who's a famous frontiersman's son, Daniel M. Boone. Next, we have North Dakota. The state capital is Bismarck. It's located on the Missouri River. Remember, this week we have talked about the importance of the Missouri River in this region. The town was originally called Edwinton until 1873, when North Dakota government decided they really wanted the railroad to come through through Edwinton, and so they renamed it Bismarck after a German chancellor, Otto von Bismarck, because they really wanted him to invest in the railroad there. So they completely renamed the city after him, in honor of him. It has the lowest average winter temperatures of all 50 capitals, including Alaska. So North Dakota is colder in the winter on average than Alaska. Next, we have South Dakota. The state capital is Pierre. It is located on the bank of the Missouri River as well. It is one of America's smallest state capitals. It does not even have a highway or an expressway. Next, we have Nebraska. The state capital is Lincoln. It is named for President Abraham Lincoln. They renamed it that 2 years after he was assassinated, so pretty quickly afterwards. It was originally called Lancaster after a city in Pennsylvania. It is the second, they have the second tallest Capitol building behind that one that we looked at last week in Louisiana. Next, we have Minnesota, which is the state capital is St. Paul. It straddles the Mississippi River. Okay, so the Mississippi River runs right through there. St. Paul is one of the twin cities with Minneapolis, which is just right to the west. So there are two pretty large cities right together in Minnesota. There's St. Paul and then there's Minneapolis. They're referred to as the Twin Cities. That's why we have the Minnesota Twins baseball team. The city itself has 26 miles of shoreline on the Mississippi River, which is more than any other U.S. city has. Next, we have Kansas. It can be found on the Kansas River. Or sorry, the state capital is Topeka, and it can be found on the Kansas River. The city was actually destroyed by deadly tornadoes in 1966. Kansas is kind of a hotbed for tornadoes because of the lay of the land. It's very flat, okay? So they do have a lot of tornadoes in certain parts of it. It is only 2 miles south of being located in the dead center of the United States. So it is very close to being in the center of the U.S. Next, we have Wisconsin. The state capital is Madison. It is named for President James Madison. The city is the only capital city to sit on an isthmus. And so an isthmus, guys, if you look down here, it's where there's two large bodies of land, and there's this thin little, it's kind of like a water bridge is what I would call it, or a land bridge, like a natural bridge. So you have water on either side, but it's just this thin, skinny little piece of land that connects these two larger landforms. Those are our capital cities for the Midwest region. If you need to go back, please go back and take notes on those and complete your show it.